Coming up on In Your Neighborhood, we've got your sweet tooth covered with some delicious ice cream that's being made in an historic old building in a small Union County community. Plus, we've got an Eastern European favorite that's proving to be a big draw in Bloomsburg.
Could your Wi-Fi service be more intuitive, proactive, secure, lovable? Guard you from conniving cybercrime? Give you complete control over every device? And turn connected devices into motion sensors? Relax and enjoy flawless adaptive Wi-Fi anytime and anywhere. Wi-Fi worth loving. HomePass from Plume.
Hello, everybody. I'm Carl Bauer. Join me as we sit down with some local sports legends of the past. From state champions to gold medalists, we catch up and find out whatever happened to those fantastic local athletes. Join me every Monday at 2 and 6 p.m. for Catching Up with Carl, only on Service Electric Cablevision, Channel 508 HD.
Welcome to In Your Neighborhood. I'm your host, Chris O'Rourke, and we have a real treat for you, a real sweet treat. We're going to focus on two businesses that are delivering delightful desserts. And when it comes to summer, you can't get more delightful than ice cream from the Old Mill Creamery. And this is literally the first quiet moment that we've been here this morning. You know what they say, ice cream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream.
I like that aspect of the history of it. What was the hub of industry in the 1800s? It was the mill. It's where everybody sat in the evening to get the local news, share it. It was where everybody met everybody. We reinvented it. So they come in and what I really enjoy is seeing people enjoy themselves, meeting their friends here, sitting at the picnic tables by the creek, that was my vision, giving a product and a place people can enjoy.
We found plenty of people enjoying the Old Mill Creamery on a late May morning as there was a line for ice cream at 10:30. There was a time when people would drive through Cowan in northern Union County in 5 seconds without giving a thought about it. But that all changed in June of 2022 when the creamery opened. Now it's a destination, with many people making the drive on Route 192 north of Mifflinburg just to get some of their ice cream. The beautiful old building that was a mill right up until the 1940s now serves another purpose: to delight your taste buds with homemade ice cream and other local foods and drinks. Getting to this point was a bit of a process for owner John Nolt, his family, and their employees. Although he loves ice cream and had always dreamt of opening an ice cream place, he didn't know anything about making it.
I reached out to Penn State, which I had gone to some other meetings there, but I reached out and signed up for the Penn State 3-day short course. At that time, I didn't have any hands-on experience, so I struggled to follow the ice cream lingo, all the different lingo that you have, but it was definitely very foundational to get me the basics.
The first piece of stainless steel equipment went in sometime during 2020. What then followed was what could only be described as a dream come true if you're an ice cream lover. As John experimented with making the ice cream in the months before they opened, he would tell family that they're doing a run of ice cream, and they would tell a few neighbors. Eventually, they became sort of like ice cream yard sales, with a freezer inside the door of the yet-to-be-completed store, and it was on a self-serve basis. John soon found that he ran out of ice cream pretty quickly. He tells us that his recipe is fairly simple.
My vision was quality, and by quality I mean it's more like what you make at home. I have a lot of question marks and concerns about the overuse of corn sugars. I think that is a huge problem in American diet problems. So for that reason, although corn sugar is cheap and corn starch brings some good aspects to churnability of ice cream, I've cut all them. Our base recipe gets no corn syrup, no corn sugar, no high fructose corn syrup. It is milk, cream, sugar, and you stabilize it. You use to make it churn and keep it from melting too fast. So it's a non-fat dry milk to make the solids right. So to balance that, yeah, plain cane sugar is more expensive than using corn sugars and et cetera. But that's what I wanted. And we pursued that, and people are appreciating it.
They started out with just an 8-flavor dipping station, which went to 12, and finally 16. They have their staples, along with other flavors rotating in and out, and then some seasonal stuff, like they'll have around Christmas time.
The fun part was there's a fair number of our flavors that were customer suggestions. You know, there's somebody come in and said, my dad used to make me this type of ice cream, and they describe it, and we check with our ingredient suppliers, and then we would ask them, you know, is this what you're looking for? And we have quite a list, and we have more that are on the request list that we're designing. That's the fun part. Being a small business, you have that flexibility, you have that customer contact, and that's what I love.
To go with the homemade ice cream, the Old Mill Creamery has another real treat: homemade waffle cones. We found an employee churning them out on a series of waffle makers and then rolling the waffles into the cone shape and placing them on a stand to cool. Milk was always going to be a part of the equation here too, with John owning a dairy farm just down the road. As he told us, you can't get any fresher than a half-mile away. So you can get their milk here, and in a number of different flavors, like chocolate, strawberry, vanilla, and orange cream. They also make A2 milk, which is for people with sensitive stomachs. From there, they added products from local producers, like cheese curds and other cheeses from Dauphin County, cheese cakes, fresh beef, coffees from 2 different local companies that you can buy as whole bean and take home, or grind up right there. There's also freshly made chips and fresh flowers. The other thing to take in here is the history of the place. There's been a mill on this spot since the 1740s, although many of the versions burned down. From the end of the mill era in the 1940s, there have been a number of different owners with a number of different purposes. John didn't move from Lancaster County to the area until 1990, and by then it was no longer a mill, although he has made it a point to bone up on its history. It was around 2000 that one of the owners asked him to uncover what he believed to be a beautiful brick building underneath a number of additions from over the years. When that owner died and his wife didn't have a vision for the building, it sat vacant, an elephant on the corner that no one wanted to deal with. That's when John's dream emerged again, and his family bought it in 2018. That began the lengthy process of reworking it, and it was a trying process, with all of the rules and regulations they had to follow, many of which were gray areas for what they were doing, turning an old building into a retail business. At one point, it became too much, and John called for a 3-month breather of sorts back in 2019.
Because we were really stressed out at the time, we just had a number of things happen. Like 3 or 4 of us went through health issues in that year time. So one was in a wheelchair from immune reaction arthritis. Another, had appendicitis and had cancer on the appendix. Fortunately, he was clear after that. So there was a number of things that happened that had really stalled us. And at the same time, zoning, I kept asking questions, but all of a sudden somebody wasn't happy and they shut us down at that point. So you had like dominoes falling, stacking against us there for a short period of time. And then we took probably I think it was at least a 3-month break where we just shut everything off. I told him, how long do I have to wait to give me time and to heal and reevaluate the situation and come back without starting as a new project. Like the work we did so far is still viable on the legal side. So we took that, I think it was 90 days, about 3 months, and that's when we had the family meeting and they said, hey, let's try it. And I sure appreciate, there's just nothing like family and community and a faith in God to hold you together and just give you a road forward.
He told us that the neat thing that happened as they were doing the work is that people would stop by to ask what they were doing and building. So the buzz was already starting to build, which is why they had lines almost immediately on the day they had their soft opening. He told us that they could have hired a crew to help them get open a lot sooner, but that they actually needed the 4 years that it took to do the renovation so that they could educate themselves on the processing aspects of ice cream. On this day, talking to us, he told us it was surreal to think that they were closing in on their 1-year anniversary, and that it's a tribute to their community support, along with his family and their team of employees, which numbers around 12. They actually had their biggest day ever on Memorial Day, going through a record number of cones and about 50 tubs of ice cream. John then took us back to the part of the building where the magic happens and explained part of the process to us.
We do have areas called our raw room. We have a trailer that brings milk down from the farm that we back into this access building to the side. So that's the milk trailer out there. Generally, milk will come off the trailer. We use some in the recipes as it comes from the cow, but most of it goes through the cream separator. And if this room here is also considered raw, where we hold the skim milk into 2 raw tanks. So then basically the cream goes into 15-gallon milk cans and gets stored in the refrigerator. We bring that back out to blend whatever we need to do. So it can be whole milk, blending to the state standard of 325, or it can be a reduced fat milk. After that, we do most of our blending in this center tank. This tank gets most of our blends done, including our chocolate milks, all the flavored milks, the ice cream base mix. It all gets blended in here. Once it's blended, we move over into the primary, or it's sort of the hub of all our equipment here.
From there, it gets homogenized and pasteurized and stored in more tanks, where it can become milk, either regular or one of the flavors, and then run through a machine where it gets bottled. Or it gets made into ice cream, and they were making chocolate on this day, putting it into tubs, and from here it can either go into the cooler where it can be stored or used right away, or more likely it goes into their freezer. And boy, is this some freezer. Minus 17 degrees. And they put it here on purpose. They call it flash freezing because cooling it down very quickly helps to preserve the texture from when it comes out of the churn. So John and his crew have to think about a lot of things each day, and that produces the delicious ice cream they place on your cone when you order it. And while John has gotten his business to this point, he still tries to think of more efficient ways to do things. His biggest problem now, though, is his parking lot, which can only handle so many cars on a Friday and Saturday night, although he truly appreciates the creativity many people use to get their cars parked and inside his store for ice cream. They also built a drive-through setup into their store addition to the Old Mill, so you can take that path around the building, look at the menu, and place an order and pick it up right out of the window. But for our money, the true joy, and one that John really appreciates as well, is buying a cone and then heading outside for the very short stroll to enjoy it on one of the benches or picnic tables along Rapid Run. The Old Mill Creamery is open from 7:30 in the morning until 8:30 at night, Monday through Saturday. During the winter, they shorten their hours a little bit. When we come back, we'll take you to a little bakery that is big on taste and variety.
SECV, connected to our communities for 75 years. We provide communication services that connect friends and family. We're connecting with our neighbors through support of local causes and events, connecting our students and schools to a world of learning resources, and connecting you to the latest technology with local customer service. Our customers, our community, our mission. Since 1948. SECV.com.
Feast your eyes on this, a chimney cake filled with ice cream, strawberries, and a strawberry cookie. Or this, a honey cake, not something that you usually find on a dessert menu around here. If these two items don't have you drooling, then I don't know what will. Here's what I do know though, where you can get them, at the little bakery in downtown Bloomsburg. Apparently, I'm not the only person who knows this, because this business, that has only been open a little over 6 months, routinely has lines out the door. There was one the day we were here in late May. So word is getting around about this little gem on Center Street across from the Bloomsburg Theater Ensemble's home. While the chimney cake is a big draw, there are plenty of other mouth-watering delights for you to enjoy, along with coffees and teas. Owner Natalia Bunziak also gets items like bread and maple syrup from other vendors.
So my bakery is Chimney Cake Bakery, plus we did add a couple of products, but they become so popular, and we always our portfolio growing, and we always adding something new, something seasonal, and something what people like, because it's different, and I think that's why of the reason why people like it, because they are interested to try something new and they like it.
It's amazing when you think about the life journey that Natalia has taken to get here. She was born in Ukraine, spending the first 21 years of her life there. Then she moved to the Czech Republic, settling in Prague, which is where her husband is from. She started out as a teacher in Ukraine, but when she moved to Prague, she went back to school, getting a degree in marketing and management. She worked in the food and beverage industry, handling broadcasts of vineyards and restaurants, along with weddings and special events, and she was always around high-quality food. So at what point in time, though, in that whole process between Ukraine and Prague, Czechoslovakia, did you start to bake? I mean, did you do it as just kind of a hobby at first?
In Ukraine, everyone, when they growing up, they baking with the mom. So,
So you learned how to bake with your mom?
That was my first experience, probably since 6 years. So I always did bake with the mom, and then in Czech Republic. So I was working the place when they organized wedding, and there was always wedding cakes and a lot of small desserts for the wedding, and I not only watched them, but I did make them at home always. So when we moved to US, I started to bake and sell my goods.
The problem over here was that she didn't have a home for her goodies. After 2 years, she decided to open a bakery. And after a year of searching, she found this spot. With that marketing and management background, Natalia knew it would have to focus on something unique, a new product, which is why she chose the chimney cake, which you don't normally find around here. But it's very traditional in spots like Prague, Romania, Hungary, Poland, and throughout Central and Eastern Europe. Natalia also told us that she noticed right away that Bloomsburg needed a place with sweets, and she certainly has delivered, tapping into a market that will always do well. She also told us that even after just a short time here, she felt a responsibility to her local community to create this space.
I think and I'm so thankful to local community because it's more than I expected. I was thinking that it will be small business, but sometimes I do have a line behind the door and all the time, and it just, I'm so thankful and grateful to our community for all support that they showing me and giving me.
Obviously you're doing something right if you have a line out the door.
I hope so. The best compliment I can hear that people saying we will be back.
To make this story even more remarkable is the fact that Natalia gets help from 2 other Ukrainian women. She didn't know them before. They showed up when they heard about her bakery. While she does offer a lot of different items, Natalia tells us that much of what she makes is seasonal. Like right now, much of it is fruit-based. But during times like Christmas, you're going to find plenty of Christmas cookies. Her main ingredient is love, because she loves what she does. With that in mind, she showed us the complete process of making a chimney cake. From rolling out and cutting the dough, to wrapping it around the wooden forms. Then she rolls them in sugar and places them in a special oven. I like the way the dough from the top drops to the one below it, and then what?
It's making caramel then.
It's making what?
Caramel.
Oh.
It's important to have a caramel coat on it because it's what making, it's keeping fluffy dough from inside, but a crust.
I see. It gives it a crust on the outside and fluffy on the inside.
Sugar must be gone. It must be plain caramel.
Once they are done, she pulls them out, douses them with vanilla and cinnamon sugar, and they show why they have the name chimney cake, as the steam rises out of the top. Once they are cooled, it's time to create a masterpiece.
The original chimney cake, it's a pastry that crispy from outside but fluffy inside, and you can put Nutella or honey or white chocolate, dark chocolate, caramel and nuts and eat like that when it's hot. Or you can fill cone with the fruits and put the topping as a ice cream or whipped cream on it. So I'm gonna show you with the ice cream. Let's do with Nutella. That's most traditional. And fill with the fruit. I'm gonna choose fruit puree for the second. And put ice cream on it. Very traditional Linzer cookies. can order in Prague next time or Budapest.
This completed chimney cake was soon in my hands, and I quickly sat down to work on it, marveling that while there was a crust on the outside, the inside was fluffy and soft, and filled with ice cream and other goodies. Here's the thing though, not long after I started on the chimney cake, Natalia placed a piece of honey cake in front of me to try, which of course I did, because this is every guy's dream come true, to be given more than one dessert. Not stopping there, Natalia then treated videographers Nate Grant and Ben Klein to chimney cakes, and the whole time she couldn't stop smiling, the result of doing something you love. And this is the end result. I pretty much finished my chimney cone and worked my way through a piece of honey cake. Little Bakery is definitely a must stop. Natalia will definitely take care of you. Lots of great variety, lots of great stuff here. If you have a segment idea for us, you can email us at IYN@secv8.com or stop by our Facebook page. And that's going to do it for us. I'm your host, Chris O'Rourke. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next time, maybe from in your neighborhood.